Now at 6, tonight marks 1 year since the final report on Maine's worst mass shooting was released.
That report by an independent commission, it laid out a detailed timeline as well as missed opportunities by law enforcement and the military.
Tonight, the I-Team's Dan Lamparello looks back at what's changed since those findings and how the commission's chair believes the facts have shaped Maine's response.
I think that it was influential. The facts were influential.
For 9 months, Dan Wathen led the independent commission tasked with investigating and uncovering the full story behind the deadliest mass shooting in Maine history.
It's as rewarding a thing as I've ever done, really, in the final analysis, even though at times it was painful.
Over the course of more than a dozen hearings, the commission compiled more than 6 terabytes of documents, photos, video, and testimony, now preserved in the Maine State Archives.
It didn't come as quickly as we had hoped, but we didn't realize the mass that was out there.
A year later, Wathen believes the facts outlined in the commission's final report have been taken to heart.
Do you feel like there has been some change based off of the findings that you all presented?
Yeah, definitely. And even though our report didn't call upon us to make recommendations, but just to state the facts so that the policymakers and the citizens could come to their own conclusion.
The report detailed how Saginaw County Sheriff's deputies had probable cause to use the state's yellow flag law to remove Robert Card's weapons, but didn't. Since then, the process has been streamlined, and use of the law has surged, recently surpassing 1,000 cases.
To the extent that I've seen the contents of some of those interventions, these are not closed cases. These are not questions where, should you or shouldn't you. These are cases where it's really imperative that something be done.
The report also outlined how Card's Army Reserve unit failed to take necessary steps to reduce the threat he posed to the public. In the years since, the Army has released few details about what changes it's made, only saying 3 reserve officers were disciplined, but not who they were or what that discipline involved.
The Army is not an open book and not as responsive as you would hope that they would be, but there are reasons for that as well. So,
while we may never learn what changed internally at the Army, Wathen says he believes the commission's report served as a wake-up call for all the people involved.
And it wasn't a systemic failure. It wasn't a failure of the system as much as it was personal failures of individual people.
Failures that prompted adjustments, and in Wathen's view, have left Maine stronger.
We're better prepared for probably major tragedies like this as a result of this one, and hopefully we'll never have another one, but that I think we are.
Well, not long after the commission's report was released last year, attorneys for 100 survivors and victim family members announced their intent to file civil litigation against the Department of Defense as well as an Army hospital. So far, there's been no public updates about where that case stands. In the meantime, there is an ongoing push to enact a so-called red flag law here in Maine, which voters will have the opportunity to weigh in on this November. For the I-Team, I'm Dan Lamparello. Marissa?
Dan, thank you for the updates. And remember, our I-Team is always on your side, working to get answers that matter to you. If you have a story you'd like us to investigate, just call the tip line at 228-7713 or email tips@wgme.com.